Are you listening? Damn.
Welcome to another edition of the AFC North Talk, presented by True Classic. True Classic, upgrade your shirt game with True Classic. And look at this, Nova's tone on cue here. Tom Brady can relax next 2 weeks as he only facing the Browns.
Famous last words. Famous last words.
Bengals Steelers, which is always trips me out when I read his username. Super excited for the two best teams. Here we go. It's just a weird combination here.
Big week, Super Bowl week. By the way, Sonny, I want to give you a shout out for. By the way, if you guys are wondering why is the layout like this?
Oh wait,
this is actually a preview for how the division is going to end. No, I'm sorry. That's how the division is going to finish up.
I didn't even think about it.
But yeah, Sonny's from the future. So.
Sonny's from the future. Okay, with that being said, let's.
You know, it's funny because this is like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. Because I am firm in my belief. Browns going to do one thing; they're going to finish in third place. But Tony is also firm in his belief that the Steelers will not be in fourth place, and none of us think it's going to be the Bengals or the Ravens. So what is going to happen? You know what I mean? Because
interesting.
We both have legitimate claims for both of our theories here.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, last year the Steelers were like the last all the way till last week,
and then they make the freaking playoffs.
We were in last till we weren't
until they were in the wild card. Shout out to the Ravens.
Yes.
Shout out.
Won one division game last year. A division game. Uno out. That's crazy.
That's at least this year we already broke the one.
You know what I mean? Yeah, y'all not in the danger of doing the one this year.
Okay, with that being said, let's talk about those Ravens. Ravens playing against the always dangerous Baker Mayfield. PJ is not playing.
Mayfield now. This is what we doing on this podcast.
Well,
Are we disrespecting Six God?
So the PJ ain't playing this week, and which was a surprise. Nobody knew he was injured. I was more shocked because obviously, well, you would think they're not playing for a playoff spot, but they're first in their division right now. Oh no, they're second, and Tampa, I think, got the first place right now. Anyway, so they're playing for this weird division. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna suck less? So they decided to play Baker instead of Darnold, which at that point now Baker's draft pick because of fourth round. Like, damn it, they're giving a higher pick to the Browns now.
Let's go.
So they decided to go all in, right? So they decided to let's play for win, right? I'm assuming that's their thing. They can be leading the division in 2 weeks. They can also be like top 3 pick. This is the Panthers. So it's odd, right? The whole South right now is just in a weird state. The whole NFC South. That being said, I think the Ravens.
We know who really is the leader in the NFC South. We know who's the division leader.
Tom Brady?
No, it's the Cincinnati Bengals. They are leading that division.
They're
dominating that division right now.
Well, really, the
I'm
AFC
pretty sure
North
they have the most
dominated.
division wins of that division right now.
100%. They have 3
you guys already play all of them, right, Ace?
Not yet. The last team is unfortunately we have to play Tom Brady post-divorce Buccaneers. So yeah, that's the last team.
Gotcha. Well, I think this
the Bengals have more NFC South wins, the AFC North wins. Comment down below. It's possible. It's real possible. They can't have more AFC North wins than they have AFC South wins. NFC South wins.
Yeah, that's a 6 point.
Because they can't get 4 right. Well, no. They're at 3.
They're 3. They could.
Yeah, they can't get 4. So
they cannot get 4.
Small
anyway,
victories, right?
with that being said, the ratings are like, and Tony will correct me if I'm wrong. I think we're like 12 points, which is more 13, 12 and a half. 13. That's. I think that is an excessive line. I don't remember last time. I think the Jets we win by 17 or something like that. 13 seems like a lot. The Ravens do really good coming off a bye. Very hard to predict this game. The Panthers, after McCaffrey, have been running the ball better. They have been, imposing that run. We'll see how Roquan Smith comes against Kamara. He did a really good job, not only on the rushing side and the passing side too, picking him out of the backfield. So that's going to be good. The Ravens' pass rush has becoming better, and they're getting healthier, which is exciting. We don't have a predominant, dominating person, but as a team, they're doing better without blitzing necessarily, which in the past we sacked by committee, but it was always blitzing. Now it's more rushing 4 or 5, which for me is very exciting. And the secondary is playing better. I cannot see how the Ravens lose. Like I will be here super pissed. Now if you say, will you bet the 13 points? I wouldn't. I think the Ravens win by 10. And a game that it will always feel like the Tampa game felt like the Ravens were in control of that game. The Saints, that also felt like it was in control.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a blowout game, right? So
It wasn't
the triple B. It wasn't the triple B. I don't think there's going to be a triple B in this one either. I think it's more we established the game, we put control, we win by 10. I have the Ravens. I think Lamar has a good game. Andrew should be back. Gus Edwards, I think, might be back. Ojabo, he's gonna have his debut apparently as well. So Ravens.
I like the weekly injury report for the Ravens. Like, this guy should be back.
He hasn't played. He hasn't played.
We're getting.
No,
I just mean, like, it's just the same thing every week with the Ravens, right?
Well, I will say this year for the Ravens, the injury bug hasn't been as bad, right? We lost Bateman for the year. Okay, cool. I mean, not cool, but other than that, the injury bug is more like this guy is Nick.
Relatively speaking.
Relative to last year. Yeah. Last year is historic. I mean, that was.
Yeah. This year is just like regular bad.
You can hang a banner for that. I mean, just for the injury report last year, like, that was crazy.
Yeah, so we don't have a lot of IR people, I guess, is the main thing. So
there's a lot of teams that don't have like major starters ever go on IR for the season.
What's the deal with what's the deal with JK?
Well, JK cannot play for 4 weeks because they put him in IR.
Well, how long ago? That must have been. We're coming up on a month,
he's
right?
about 3 weeks. I think he should be. Okay. But so, and it was all scar tissue.
I heard him say something about like he's more focused on coming back 100% healthy for the playoffs, which was concerning for me because he's on my fantasy team. I'm like, should I drop him to waivers?
So maybe he meant fantasy playoffs.
The big thing with JK is he feels like he rushed it back and he wasn't 100%, and he was okay. Like you can see he was playing.
No, hold on, I gotta call out JK for that. Remember all this snippiness he was giving people in the offseason about the timetable, and it turned out he just wasn't listening to the medical people. Yeah. This is what it sounds like. They wanted to take it slow. No, I'm about to play week 1. What you talking about? Everybody gave that lap. Oh, he dunked on whoever his name was. We not coming back to that note. The fact, like, come on, man. Come on, JK.
Yeah, Rappaport, he did dunk on him. I agree. Look, so right now he's saying more like, now they scope the knee. I want to make sure I'm 100 before I go in. So, yeah. In the case of Gus Edwards, he tweaked his hammy. So I think he probably will play after 2 weeks off. So I think the Ravens are coming healthy to this game. John Harbaugh, he has a ridiculous record after the bye. He usually is very strong coming out of a bye. I don't see how the Ravens can lose, but shit, crazy things have happened in the past. So hopefully this is a normal week.
So Sonny, go ahead.
I was going to say, is this going to end up being like one of those classic Ravens games where they come out and they look like remember last year, like when they were the whole work thing?
Oh, yeah, they would do the Hulk Hogan, right? Where they would get beat up for like 3/4 of the match and then Lamar starts to get a 15-yard run, and then all of a sudden, here come the Ravens. Yeah,
exactly.
Trying to make people
could it be that game? That's right.
Like Baker Mayfield will have like 2 touchdowns, no interception in the first half, and you know what's gonna happen. You already know what's gonna happen. That hot tag gonna be tagged. Baker gonna throw them interceptions. They gonna get back into that game.
Baker does well against us, but then he has his crucial interception.
Oh,
Usually.
he always throws 3 against the Ravens. Like
Yeah.
he throws a lot of
Yeah,
touchdowns. He throws a lot of interceptions.
He
Whenever
kept the
the
Steelers
over
out of the
under
playoffs
are-
back in
Yeah, my
2020.
question-
interceptions, take the over.
Yeah, my question for Sonny is: given the consistent injury problems, like for 2 years now that you've had with this set of backs, right?
Mhm.
Do you move on from both of them at the end of the year, or at least start to look for different solutions? Because it seems like you're always down to your third guy in Baltimore, no matter who's
Yeah.
up and who's down.
In the case, so in the case of JK, he's still under the rookie deal. So you keep in.
Yeah, he's going to stick around, but like, do you start to think, hey, we should get somebody who?
Maybe they draft a guy, right? They
Yeah, that's
might
what I'm
draft
thinking,
a
like-
guy. In the case of Gus, he had been durable until that injury last year, and then he came back and he looked good. He just the leg bended a little bit, and then they say he sprained the hammy.
He's about that age.
So, but yeah, so Gus is in a cheap deal until next year. So you might keep both of them, but you might draft a guy, right?
I would draft somebody to just make sure that you have
Yeah.
somebody you planned on start. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. No, I agree. I think you can draft a guy like they did with JK. When we drafted JK, if you guys don't remember, he was our third back until like the end of the year, where he essentially took over with Gus, and then they said Mark Ingram just benched, right? They might do the same thing, right? And then push. If JK has a good year, then he might be the last year with the Ravens, right? I don't think the Ravens are here gonna be paying any backs, especially with Lamar's contract coming up, right?
How do you measure that for running backs, like their durability? Because there's some that can never stay healthy, like the second they hit the NFL, and there are some like Mark Ingram don't ever get injured. Like I don't remember when's the last time he's been like seriously injured. Was it like this year?
He hasn't
he's-
played basically, but
Yeah,
he's
he's old now. Like,
Yeah.
is there something like Frank Gore never got injured a lot?
older.
Like, there's like some of these backs they just don't get injured, and some of these guys are like soft tissue injury magnets. So it's like, how do you the day we find out how to gauge that properly is the day that the draft becomes either really interesting or really, really boring.
Yeah, I think the Ravens will keep both next year. And like I said, they might draft, although now they don't have a second and a fifth. So they for all intents and purposes, they might keep the same trio, right? If Drake keeps playing how he is, he's been playing better with us. They're all three going to be cheap. They might keep all three. And
You can't give up on Dobbins yet. I mean, I know that he's injured, but you can't cut bait.
And the other thing is, both of them
can't
is the
de-emphasize.
one injury, right? It was the one injury right now. We'll see how they recover from this injury, right?
Yeah.
It's the same injury that just it got to this point. And in the case of JK, he just needed a scope because he had 3 ligaments that tore. And in the case of Gus, it wasn't as bad.
3 ligaments that tore.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I don't think that this game is. I think this will be an easy one for Sonny. I think at some point during this weekend, he will probably have some time to look around on red zone. That's all I'll say. Say the word.
Say the line, Ace.
Baker Mayfield, the Panthers. We just played the Panthers. Yeah, you guys should handle your business against the Panthers.
Will this be one of those weird measuring contests between Ravens and Bengals fans where Ravens are like, hey, man, we beat them by 25, and Bengals fans are like, beat them by however many y'all beat them. Like, is this going to be who beat them more? Raven fans are going to be like, well, Baker Mayfield was in there the whole game versus us. Y'all only played 2 quarters of Baker Mayfield. Is it going to be one of those things?
It's going to be hard to replicate what the Bengals.
It's the Panthers, dog. We can't have bragging rights on the Panthers.
Who beat them more? You know what I mean? We only beat them by 2 points. Like, I have no dog in this.
Hey, York, man.
We beat the Panthers by a miracle, and I thought the season was going to go great after that. And that tells me everything you need to know about what we don't know about week 1.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? I know Ace said it's an easy game. In your case, Q, what do you think?
Oh, come on. Baker Mayfield coming back versus is this at M&T Bank?
M&T?
No, he's familiar with the grounds.
He put 40 points on us in there.
You know what I mean? Look, man, Baker Mayfield's greatest hits versus the Ravens include like a 165-yard game from Nick Chubb. So unless somebody about to run for 165 yards for the Panthers, y'all about to see Baker Mayfield, which is to say he might get like a good 300 yards passing, but it ain't gonna matter because he's gonna have like a 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio in the negative. This is not. I mean, this is not looking good for the Panthers. I don't see a real matchup thing there. They've starting to give up defensively at this point at some parts of the season. Now, was that Thursday night game after that Bengals beat? Yeah, it was after the Bengals beat down. So they came back Thursday night. They do have a 10-day, a long week, so it's not just like no bye versus bye. So, you know, they do have that. But the Panthers just stink and the Ravens don't. And that's the math I'm using. You can say that's analytics or not. The Panthers, they are +2 in stink. The Ravens are net 0 in stink. They don't stink. So I'm going to take the Ravens because they stink less. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing for me about this game, look, obviously the Ravens are going to win this game. If they don't win this game, something went drastically wrong along the way. The 13
I don't care
points.
how bad the Bills beat us. I'm taking this as a win for the week if they lose this game.
yeah. I mean, it's division race back on for everybody if the Ravens drop a game like
I don't
this.
even care about that. I just think it would be hilarious that Baker Mayfield beat the Ravens.
True. I think, so the 13 points, it's a lot, but it's probably justified. Here's one thing I saw that was interesting because we've talked a lot about this Ravens defense and, adding Roquan Smith back to it and kind of where are the Ravens defense? Vegas is giving them a lot of credit. So the Ravens are 13-point favorites, but the over-under in this game started at 43.5, which is pretty low, but it went down. It's been bet down already to 41.5. So that's, I thought that was more interesting. Like, hey, this is, they're giving massive respect to that Ravens defense. That we've talked about this, the second half of the schedule, it eases up for the Ravens. So they're going to have a lot of easy wins at this point. It is going to be about figuring out identity offensively and then defensively. Can they maintain a level of play that we've seen historically in the Ravens? Maybe not recently with this Ravens team, although certainly I think Roquan coming in has made that defense better. So Ravens are going to win this game easily. I mean, booty beatdown. Like I don't know why we don't have to be afraid to say it, right? We're all thinking it.
No. Ace basically said it. He just didn't want to say it. Say the line.
Why are we
I do not utter those words. They are not in my vocabulary.
If we're gonna have this thing like called a booty beatdown, right? Which is like our and then there's a game where it's just obvious flashing in our face. This sets up in a certain way, and we're just not gonna say it. Then what's the point of having the meme, right? So
no, I'm not uttering those words.
Okay.
That was. Come on, Sonny. You tried. You'll try. Everybody here tried their best not to say it. Even you, when you're like, "This is gonna be one of them. This is gonna be one of them close, dominating victories." Like
the only BBD for me is Bates, Bell, and Dax. I will not be uttering those words anymore on this show.
Okay, we have a couple of super chats here.
You sure you don't want to say it in a couple weeks, man?
Nope.
We say it this week.
Meat Whips here says, how do you actually feel about games outside the US? There was a fantastic atmosphere in Munich on Sunday, as long as they fix the grass, right? The grass was slippery. Players said the grass wasn't good. But yeah, I mean, I thought the whole singing together. I mean, look, I told this last Monday. It looked like a soccer game. Soccer games atmospheres are very peculiar.
Especially the Bundesliga, the German league has a great, and that was played in Munich. So yeah.
I get that that's great to watch on TV and to hear, and it's like a fun atmosphere. But what if you at the game though? Like that's gotta be like if you don't want to be up there doing the whole game, and they standing and jumping around, and you just trying to eat like some nachos and watch the game. That's gotta be top tier.
You're signing up for that. You're signing up.
I've experienced that. Obviously, I haven't.
You know what? We got it right in the States. I don't care. The way we do college football is right. If you want to do all that stuff, be in the student section. You know what I mean? Be in the student section.
To the Orlando City game here, Tony, I got that experience. Some guys came from like Charlotte or something.
Yeah.
And I was literally in that same position that Q was saying. I was going to get some nachos.
Yeah, I'm just trying to enjoy the game.
Stomping so hard on like their seats that you could just hear everything quaking, whether you were at the game or going to go get something.
That's crazy to me. All I'm saying is I want to eat my nachos. I like how we do it in college football where they could just have them over there. Let me be lazy and sit down in the bleachers with everybody else. You know what I mean?
But yeah, soccer here, that's how they do, or football. For those they know, whoever it was a European donation, so shout out to you.
football.
They do that, right? Like, look, FIFA's about to start, which that has me hype.
World Cup.
World Cup. Go watch those games.
One day I'm gonna have somebody explain to me how FIFA works, and then I'm gonna know.
FIFA is just like
it's very
corrupt. The corrupt organization on top of all.
Oh, so it's just the college football playoff for soccer.
Yeah, it's NCAA. It's the NCAA.
Oh, okay, it makes sense.
Well,
But instead of colleges fighting for regional superiority, these are countries that legitimately hate each other, playing each other in a game that might end up being violent.
For FIFA, for context, it's for hosting the actual games. That's just you have to earn.
Well, we can get deep.
Where do they if I don't know if this happens, but let's say like Russia got a FIFA team and Ukraine got one. Like, is that we gonna let that one play out for the 7-8 seed in FIFA? Like, is that how that's gonna roll? Like, there's gotta be neutral site, right?
But no. So what they'll do in those cases, it's all the games are gonna be played in Qatar in the World Cup. But I do think they do usually do things like trying to separate out teams from the same federation. In when they do the seedings and whatnot.
Although North and South, they have played plenty of times, right, against each other.
Oh, North and South Korea. Oh man, I didn't know they did that. That sounds very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, like you'll have so the way it works, it is a lot like NCAA because like you'll have the SEC and the ACC. There are like CONCACAF and UEFA and all these, and those are like UEFA is the Europe Federation, which is all the European teams together, right? CONCACAF is all of the North American teams together.
That must be like the MAC of that whole thing.
Yeah, it is.
Mexico holding that thing up. That's the only thing. Because Canada ain't got no soccer going. We ain't got no soccer going.
Canada's good. No, Canada's actually good.
Canada's good. They do it out there. Good. So we just think
we're bad.
We qualify this year.
Yeah, but we're bad. Yeah, but.
And then South America, I bet that thing be going. That's the SEC for real. Well,
Brazil, Argentina.
It's all them places I'll be hearing about all them soccer players being from. It's like down there, right?
I would say, yeah. Well, the SEC is probably Europe, and then maybe that's the Big Ten. Then it would be South America.
Big Ten, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Europe is definitely the best.
Yeah. Okay, that's not the real emo. Raven around here says, "Don't root for Baker. It won't work this week."
Does it ever work? Is he gonna get an AFC?
Yeah,
win?
I mean,
is he gonna get an AFC North win this year?
He's only got 2 opportunities left. So.
He blew his best one.
Oh, yeah,
because he didn't play in the first quarter.
Silent Wolf, and I'm gonna get into this later. My offerings to the Snow Gods, go Browns.
I know we think like, hey man, Nick Chubb is really hard to tackle in the snow, but have you ever thought like how hard it is to tackle Josh Allen in snow?
Fair.
I'm concerned about that.
Fair. Real Bengals fans know we will destroy Pitt. 20 plus. This sounds like a triple B.
He definitely Joe Power. Come on, put some pepper on your chest and say it. Okay.
Say the words.
Say the words. If you're gonna predict 20 plus points, don't cower out and not say it on this show. If you're gonna predict a more than 3-score victory for a team before the game even started, dog, you got to put it where your heart is. You got to say it. You put in the points and everything. I want it. Okay. So if we predicted that, predict it. But don't be trying to hide from it. Don't be trying to sneak away from it. Ooh, technically I didn't say it. Nah. From this point on, anything more than 3 scores is an automatic booty beat down. Okay. That is an automatic qualifier. There we go. We just changed the rules just like that.
I see. Watching the Browns D-line is actually so funny. Let me see. We had a couple more here.
It looked like they on wheels, the way they just kind of get because it's not that they get moved out the way, they move themselves out the way on a lot of this misdirection, which is like it's like watching like a symphony, like a ballerina. Like, you ever watch one of those, like the Nutcracker, and everything just moves so flowingly, and it's just like left. And that's what it's like watching the Browns defensive line go against offensive lines. It's like everything's just flowing like it's water polo. It's amazing.
Okay, from Luke Walker here says, Sim constantly posting like TJ thoughts. Let me hit this man in his appendix. I don't even know what that means. In a game, it's gonna make
it's silly. Yeah. But it's Steelers Bengals week. It's time to be petty.
The dirty Steelers organization.
Petty time. Let's go maximum petty this week. Don't worry. I will
Sup,
also be
Sonny.
maximum petty this week.
Sub Q, sub Tony, sub Ace. Shout out to you, Devin Duke. I'm gonna stop the super chat here real quick. Tony, let's pay some bills. I know Ace has to go, so I want to get the rolling the Steelers and the Bengals.
Let's do it. Holidays are almost here, and there's plenty of t-shirt cheer thanks to our sponsor, True Classic Tees. Fellas, we have the perfect gift for your wish list. True Classic Tees are a gift for you, for her, and a great present for any guy in your life. True Classic is on a mission to maximize men's confidence by making them look good. Trust me when I say that this is a gift the ladies will appreciate too. True Classic has already helped over 2 million men look great in their tees, and now you can save big while you do so. Get 25% off True Classic with the exclusive link, trueclassic.com/AFC North Talk. Sonny, you got it right there. Perfect. And the discount doesn't stop there. You'll save even more during their statewide sale. Support our show and check them out at trueclassic.com/AFC North Talk. If you're rocking a Santa bod, True Classic might be the Christmas miracle you've been waiting for. Almost all men's t-shirts are designed to look good on certain body types. Well, True Classic's team designed t-shirts to make the fellas of all sizes out there feel confident in their clothing. These tees taper off towards the bottom, but they fit tighter around the chest and shoulders. This is a desirable look that can only be achieved, or that can be achieved for every body type. They give you the wide shoulder, tapered bottom look that we're looking for, and the quality of the t-shirt is elite. From going to the gym to your first date, there's no better look than a fresh tee. They offer menswear as well, ranging from polos to workout shirts to even boxer briefs designed to keep your boys feeling nice and comfortable. They make it super easy to build out your wardrobe with the elite True Classic quality. They have a pack builder on their website so you can customize the bundle the way you want and save even more. And for my big fellas out there, they have long options for tall guys and up to 3XL. True Classic also makes the perfect gift or stocking stuffer for all the men in your life. Dad bods got you covered. Rip bods, you know it. Your average Joe, yes, sir. Get yourself or someone you love the number one gift on Santa's list. It's a gift for you, but it's really a gift for her. So you get 25% off at trueclassic.com/AFC North Talk, and free shipping is included on purchases over $100.
And also, before we throw it to Ace here, I want to give a big shout out to Adam Holland, Dom Gasulo. Shout out to you for being top tier Patreon. We appreciate you guys. If you want to support us a little bit more, Patreon link is in the description below. And yes, I know we have a couple more super chats, but I want to give Ace the opportunity. Before I go to Ace, what is the line for this game, Tony?
Glad you asked. The line on this game is weird. Opened at 5.5. Opened at in Pittsburgh. Right? In Pittsburgh. Opened at 5.5. Bengals by 5.5. It has now moved. It moved yesterday to 4.5. Then it moved to 4. Then it moved to 3.5. Now it's back to 4. Weird. I'm telling you, it's weird. Money coming in on the Steelers, but it seems like there's a threshold at 4 where if you go lower than that number, Vegas is like, no, that's too low now. So anyway, that's where we are. Over under at 41. Over under at 41. Sorry.
That's okay. Ace, what is your thoughts on this game, man?
Yeah, in this game, I think obviously it's a division game. It's us going to Pittsburgh to try to do something that we haven't done much of, which is winning on the road this season, right? Bengals are 2-3 when it comes to that. And I said this on Twitter Spaces, they've been a completely different team on the road than they have been at home. You play the Bengals at home, they've been pretty solid. They've scored at a crazy pace. They've defended at a crazy pace. On the road, it hasn't been terrible, right? They're still a top, 17 offense, passing offense. You talk about passing defense, they're 18th. So they're not terrible on the road. But when you look at the rushing offense on the road, it's 32nd overall, and that's drastically different, especially when you're going into a game where you're going against a very stingy Steelers run defense that's number 6 overall. But if you take the splits into account, number 3 overall. So there's a lot of people saying, hey, this should be a game where we should depend on Joe Mixon. I don't think so, especially when you talk about Kenny Pickett and that offense that they have over there. I think they want you to run the ball. I think they want you to try to keep this close. And I think that plays into their hands from that aspect. Now, I'm not saying that you should just go pass happy, because in the first game, Bengals did pass a lot. I believe Burrow had 53 attempts. Joe Mixon still had 27 attempts running as well. So it wasn't like they were just passing the ball. But this is a game where you got to have some balance here. And I think the most important factor is a turnover differential. I talked about it the first game. You can't have another game where you have multiple turnovers to give it to the Steelers offense. Joe Burrow just said today, he claimed and proclaimed himself. He's not throwing 4 interceptions again in the game. He doesn't think that it's going to happen again like that. So for me, that's not what gives me the confidence. I think the offense is getting rolling. What gives me confidence is the Steelers and probably what their game plan will be coming into this game. They want to run it as well, right? And I understand that. That makes sense. But if we do get DJ Reader back, I think that helps the Bengals out. But I think the thing that helps us out the most is Kenny Pickett is still in a position where he's kind of learning on the fly, right? He still hasn't fully mastered everything. And so they're going to have to deal with those growing pains as well as trying to win this game. I think that's what helps the Bengals in this situation is, can Kenny be a guy that can get it to Deontay Johnson on a deep ball? I mean, some of the plays that I saw last week would tell me he kind of struggles in that area. But that will be the big test because the Bengals, we do have Cheeto out of this game, right? There is some guys that possibly could get taken advantage of in the secondary when you got somebody like George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Freiermuth. They do have the potential, but can Kenny make those throws? I'm of the mind where I think that he can make the short to intermediate throws. The long ones, I'm not so sure about. I mean, the Steelers, I believe this is still standing. Before, I think this entire week, their longest touchdown is 8 yards. That is crazy. That is crazy that is still what it is right now. So I think you have to, from a Bengals perspective, make sure that your defense makes it hard for Kenny, try to confuse him. I don't think offensively this should be a game where you try to be the Cleveland Browns in a sense and try to hand it off all of the time. That's not going to be a recipe, I think, that gives you a win in this one. This is one where you have to do a balanced attack. You have to score a lot in this game. If you could try to get about 27 points in this game, I think it's pretty much game over for this Kenny Pickett offense, who hasn't gone over 20 points a game this season so far. That's not to say he can't do it, right? But I think that's where we need to be at. I hope Minka does play in this game. Obviously, TJ Watt is back. Look, if I'm the Bengals offensive staff, please just start double teaming these elite pass rushers. I do not want to see TJ Watt go one-on-one with any of these guys. And if you don't have a chip there, if you don't try to do anything, you can't have TJ Watt wreck this game like he did week 1, like Myles Garrett did as well. I mean, I understand Highsmith is definitely going to be the hot guy doing his thing. Yeah. But if you were to tell me I could get the same results as the Saints did last week, letting Highsmith get 2 and TJ Watt get 0, I like my chances in that. Now, is he going to get 0? Probably not. TJ Watt is a hell of a player, defensive player of the year candidate, just like Myles Garrett. So at least you have to make an effort. I just don't want to see what I saw the first game, which is some chip blocking, very minimal, and it held up pretty well, and then you just went away from it. They've got to consistently I think make sure that that's not an issue for them. The other thing was Volson really struggled a lot the first game against Cam Hayward with the inside pressure. I think Volson has come a long way since then. A lot of the offensive line has come a long way. Lyle Collins is starting to play a lot better. The only person that's still struggling that I'm worried about is Jonah Williams. Jonah Williams versus Highsmith, that matchup I think bodes well. We'll see how Volson bounces back against Cam Hayward. But overall, I think the Bengals get a win. I'm not going to say that it's by a significant amount because this is in Pittsburgh. This is a team that hasn't really looked like that explosive team that they've been at home on the road outside of maybe the Saints game. And that was a game where you remember we had to come back in that game and take the lead at the end. So I've got the Bengals probably by most a touchdown, but I think it's going to be a close game.
Okay. Ace, are you leaving now?
I'll listen to Tony for a little bit, and then if it goes over, then I'll just head out.
Okay, then I'll give the floor to Tony just in case there's anything you want to respond to.
No. I actually think there's two parts of what I want to do on today's show. Right? There's like what Ace just did, which I respect a lot, which is like the break the game down in the X's and O's, right? But then there's there's
LOL.
That's not what we do at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah,
anymore.
but then there's the like, here we go, Bengals fans, don't get swept. No, I think Ace hit the nail on the head there when it comes to like breaking down the X's and O's of this game. Such an interesting matchup because look, the Bengals, this is a game a year ago. The Bengals dominated the Steelers. Neither of those games were close. I understand the first one was a 14-point game, but that might as well have been like a 30-point spread when it came to like actually watching the game and how it felt throughout the game. Because and in both games they are signified by one thing. The Bengals dominated the line of scrimmage, both stopping the running game and stopping Najee Harris from getting going. And they got Joe Mixon going early and often in both games. And it was, it was one of those games where as a fan, it's the most disgusting game you can watch because it just feels like the team is helpless to get a stop. And you come into this game, the Steelers have played really well in a run defense perspective, right? We just watched them shut down Kamara for like 20 yards. Like Ace said, they've been pretty solid at run defense. There was one game this year where they were not. That was in Cleveland. Not a fun game, but that really was kind of like an aberration when it comes to like when we're looking at what has this run defense been all year. The Bengals are coming off a game where they just got Joe Mixon going big. I mean, Joe Mixon just went off for like 9,000 yards or whatever it was against Carolina before the bye week. So they're feeling good. And then you go on the other side and Najee Harris was about to get benched. Right? We're all talking about Jalen Warren time. And then he comes out and has probably it wasn't his best game statistically because he had that 30-yard game against Cleveland. But like given the spot, given the moment for him, yeah, I mean, it was like it did kind of mark a like, wow, that was out of nowhere career changer, your trajectory changer at least, or could be the start of a trajectory change anyway. And so, yeah, I mean, Steeler fans I'll tell you this, Steeler fans certainly feel like, hey, this team can run the ball. Okay, now we back. Let's talk about 9 straight wins. Let's talk about this team winning 8, 9, 10. I don't know. 11. It's just, and then of course the defense that they're going up against though is the one that they can't run the ball against ever. I mean, the Steelers it's not just the Matt Canada thing because you go back to the loss to Ryan Finley. Look at the numbers in that game, right? Look at how the Steelers struggled to run the ball in that game. Look at the struggles that Ben Roethlisberger had in that football game, right? And then you go to what happened last year. Then you go, look, let me just read you Najee Harris's rushing numbers in the last 3 meetings, right? Najee Harris week 1 was not the leading rusher for the Steelers. That was Chase Claypool, who, by the way, not on the team anymore. Najee Harris ran the ball 10 times for 23 yards, a cool 2.3 yards per carry. The game before that, 14 carries. Oh, sorry, this is the first game last year. 14 carries, 40 yards, a cool 2.9 yards per carry. And then the blowout last year, 8 carries, 23 yards, 2.9 yards per carry. I mean, they just cannot run the ball whatsoever. And so, okay, let's imagine a world where the Steelers want to run the ball, but the Bengals kind of, they've stopped. Let's imagine a world they can't. Bengals, same thing. They want to try and run the ball because that's no Jamar Chase that they've been trying to do. Okay, can't run the ball. What does this come down to? What does this game come down to? This game's going to come down to potentially Joe Burrow versus Kenny Pickett. Joe Burrow versus Kenny Pickett. Now, do I feel confident in a game? Yeah, exactly. Do I feel confident in Kenny Pickett versus Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow versus Joe Burrow Jr., right? Remember those draft?
Well, it's almost Joe, but it's almost Joe Burrow versus himself. Because look, the Steelers won in week 1 without any semblance of an offense whatsoever. So can Kenny Pickett recreate that? Sure. I mean, I just worry, the thing I worry about with Kenny is the turnovers.
4 picks.
Yeah. Like, for all the things I said coming out of week 1 bad about Mitch Trubisky, it was true that he didn't turn the ball over, and any turnover in that game would have changed the game. Right now, obviously, 5 turnovers. You would like maybe in a 5 turnover game we score some points too, not just not turn the ball over, right? But Joe Burrow versus this defense. You talked about TJ Watt.
The
TJ Watt thing. I'm not expecting TJ to have a huge game in this one. I'm expecting one of Cam Hayward and Alex Highsmith to have a big game in this one. The gravity of TJ Watt being on the field and watching what that did to the Saints last week. It is just like this.
It's godlike, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it is this magnet of like, everything has to go this way. And it opens things up for everybody else. A couple other players I'll talk about defensively for the Steelers. Minka Fitzpatrick may actually play in this game. Tomlin said they're leaving the door open for him, even though he just had appendectomy surgery. That would be crazy. I don't think they necessarily look. I said this on Locked On Steelers, which aired today, so you can check that out as well. I'm going to get in trouble for this. I'm glad Ace isn't here. Don't let Ace see this. Delete this out of the show. I don't think the Steelers need Minkah Fitzpatrick to win this game.
They're better without him.
Well, there is that. They are undefeated.
They only win when
they have won 2 games this year without Minkah. And they've lost 6.
It's like the Odell thing all over again, you know.
His splits.
Look at the splits.
Ace heard it. Damn it. Well, that's getting used against me on Monday. Look, Demonte Casey's a good player, man. And I know it's a 1-game sample size. He had an interception against New Orleans, but I'm going back to what I saw in training camp and how good he was back then. I think the Steelers can stick in too high if they can get this thing into hey, you have to run the ball, but you can't run the ball, and it becomes a very similar game to what happened last time, where Burrow has to be very disciplined with the football. He turned the ball over a lot. He's going to be under pressure in this game. The other player that's going to be key to this one, 2 players, Robert Spillane and Miles Jack. How do they use them? Robert Spillane, great run defender. He's key in shutting down Joe Mixon. But when we talk about a too-high system, the Bengals have tried to use those seams a little more, especially with a guy like Hayden Hurst. And Miles Jack's going to be key as far as that Tampa 2 system down the stretch. Who am I predicting to win? Listen, like I told you guys.
Let's go.
This is my personal Super Bowl. Personal Super Bowl. Okay? Huge game. Huge game for me, my brand, my hatred of Bengals fans, and Bengals fans' hatred of me. Because let me say this. You already know this, but I'll put it out there. Bengals fans, if the Bengals lose this game, this is all I'm going to talk about for the rest of the year. I don't care. Nothing matters. The Steelers swept your Bengals. That's all I'd say. We have 1 year of just straight heel Tony on this show.
So you're talking about it until next year, basically.
I'm basically, until they play again. Yeah, I mean, like this is a,
who will be the first team to lose to the Bengals in the AFC North?
True. Can't have that. Do I think the Steelers can win this football game? Yeah. We're winning this football game, boys.
We are winning.
This football game. Let's go. Tony's lock of the week. Put it up. Tony's lock of the week. There's not a chance in hell the Steelers at home are losing to Joe Burr, to Joe Regression. You want to know where listen, people are asking, where's the regression go? Tune in Sunday, 4:25 p.m. You will see the regression show up once again. Let's go, Steelers. Come on, Kenny. One time.
This took a turn quickly.
This is what I'm talking about, though. You know what? He know that's not going to be popular, and he knows probably a 70% chance he looks like an idiot, but he went for it. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Don't care.
He went for it. That's what I'm saying. I could respect that at the end of the day. Everybody else hedging, scared to say what needs to be said about this game. Yeah, I think Tony tripped, though. You know what I mean? TJ Watt being in this game does add an intriguing element. I don't know where they are with him. Like, are they doing snap counts with him, or is he on limited snaps? But yeah, man, this the offensive firepower just ain't gonna be there unless like the Bengals play disastrously bad. I don't expect it, but I don't think this is a game that's going to be a blowout. The Bengals start slow as hell on the road, and the only thing I think is going to save them in this game is that the Steelers sometimes just don't start. So they're allowed to start a little slower, but if, like, let's say that some of this offensive stuff actually transfers over to this Bengals game somehow, I could see the Bengals being in trouble. If they go down to the Steelers by like any more than like a touchdown, they're probably not getting that lead back. I don't think. I don't know. I'm going Bengals here. I would take Bengals. What?
Oh, you just said, everybody's hedging. And then here comes Mr. Hedge himself. Quincy, don't hedge. Make a pick.
Look, if I don't hedge, this is going to be the Bengals by more points.
That's fine. I feed on the hatred this week. Let's go.
I'm going to go Bengals by 10 points.
No.
Like, okay. So this is what I'm thinking about this game. There's a path. There is a path. It's called 90. 90.
But man, I would love for them to just lose every game in the division this year.
9-0 is the path. Look, if La'el Collins, and he cannot do it by itself, they need to put Tony, you're talking about Hayden Hurst. I think Hayden Hurst are gonna try to put him there to chip.
To chip, yeah.
Yeah. Which then he will go in on a route, but that's gonna help the linebacker just to be there, right? Because the play's gonna take a little bit longer to develop. Also helps Highsmith, Hayward to create pressure. The margin of error, in my opinion, for your guy Joe Burrow is smaller because the Steelers will present the pressure problem, right? And the pressure problem is a pressure without blitzing. Jamar Chase is not back yet. So obviously that takes that weapon. It's a big weapon that takes away. If the Steelers play their normal defense, this is going to be a low-scoring game because the defense of the Steelers is good enough to prevent the Bengals to be all fired up, and the Steelers defense, and the Steelers offense just bad, right? So that's the Bengals defense don't need to do that much to prevent the Steelers to score. Let's be honest. That being said, I don't think Mix is going to have a good game, not only because the Steelers good run defense. No, it's a lot of averages. Look, the reality is
he's only. Now I'm not gonna say it this week. Let me not.
No,
but it's like if we think Najee is going to become a different running back because he had a good game. We do this with Joe Mixon every time. He's the dude that he's been. Like he's a 4-yard per carry back. That's what he's been his whole career.
So I was gonna say the same thing, right? I don't expect the Steelers rush to be way back to like against New Orleans. I don't expect the Bengals to do what they did last week either, or the week before, right? Those were like outlier games right now. You have to do it for longer for me to say, oh, by the way, this guy's gonna rush for this, right? No, like, yes, I took my crow with Najee because I'm the resident Najee hater in this podcast.
You didn't. You ended last podcast early, actually.
Yeah, I did before 20. That was funny. Anyway,
Texas.
but it's way more important. It's important for both teams to establish the run, but the Steelers need to establish the run. I'm not expecting it, but they need to. That helps the rookie QB so much, right? Gets some of the pressure out. Also slows down the pass rusher. Although Cincinnati, by the way, if anything, I've been disappointed. Cincinnati's defense has been good all year. The pass rush I thought was going to be better this year coming out for Cincinnati. They've been okay, but I thought they were going to be better. I was very high on Hendrickson. Go ahead, Tony.
I was going to say, because you mentioned the pass rush. Tomlin called them. He said they've become a real pressure unit this year. Meaning like they're not great in sacks, but they get pressure.
There you go. That's a backhand compliment right there. Anyway,
they're gonna be there.
saying all this, what you Bengal fan, what you don't want is this game to be by 3 going to the last whatever minutes. You don't want to be there because that's when a pick happens, a fumble happens, and the Steelers tend to be streaky, and the football gods usually. So one of them has to be a Steeler fan. I'm convinced.
Well, the better team usually wins in that case. Yeah.
Not the better team, but yes. So saying all that, I'm going Bengals by 3. Close game. I think Kenny will throw an ill-advised pick at the end of the game.
Now it's the Miami game. He got that out of his system already. He's grown. We've grown beyond that. Now this is it. He hasn't thrown any touchdown passes this year. He's gotten like 2 all year, because he wanted to save him up for this moment.
So you think
you remember when Ben Roethlisberger threw 6 touchdown passes back-to-back weeks? He threw 12 in 2 weeks.
No,
I don't remember that. Kenny made breaks. Oh, that's right. You do remember that, actually. I don't know. Yeah. You definitely remember that.
No stats from Big Ben. He's dead to me. By the way, on the poll, the Ravens had 78%, and back then for
78.
Yeah, 78.
So the Steelers is going to be like.
What do you think it is?
Wait, this might be actually kind of fun then. If there's a lot of haters in chat.
There's a lot of Steelers fans I've seen. They came back today.
Yeah. So then I'm going to say 65% Bengals.
62.
Oh, let's go. I'm in your head, chat. Chat, I'm in your head.
Make sure you hit that like. I'm going to leave it up while I read the super chats because we have 155 votes and we have over 300 people. So I'm going to leave it up a little bit as I read, and we'll see where it ends. Okay, so we have Easy for POTUS says, been a minute since when Tony went full shine. Odafe for POTUS.
Since like my early 20s? It was high school, early, so like early 20s is when it was all good.
Damn, Tony already in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You could see like in my high school pictures, there were like problem sectors right here. It's like, uh-oh, something's going on right there.
Hey, look. I'm pretty sure. Did you go to college, Tony?
No.
Well, that would have worked out for you in college your freshman year. You would have been the guy.
And then we have Honduras and El Salvador actually fought a war over soccer. By the way, there's this crazy, again, not to derail too much, but you saw the Brazilian, I'm blanking the dude's name. It's a documentary on Netflix. This guy from Brazil scored their own goal, right? He's trying to, he's
Colombia
a
player.
Colombia,
player, right?
sorry. Yeah, Colombia. He's tried to deflect the ball out, scores the goal, and next thing you know, Q, he goner. He's a goner.
That don't take the fun out of it for y'all.
Yeah, I mean, it's
that don't take the fun out of it.
well, there's a lot taking the fun out of it at this World Cup because it's in Qatar and everything that happened with the Qatar,
It's
like how
over
they got
Christmas,
the
yeah.
how
That's
they
the
built
reason why
stadium.
it's in December. Usually it's like
It's not. This is not a great like feel good World Cup. You really got to use blinders to enjoy this stuff. You really gotta, like-
England, they're happy. They're excited for their chances here.
Well, it's coming home. It's coming home. This year,
I'm
so.
pulling for the US of A.
Do you know? Have you heard the phrase like it's coming home? Do they say that a lot?
Yes,
Get me
yeah.
home. It's get
they
me
have
home.
a song. That's a whole song.
It's a whole song. Yeah.
It's a whole song.
English
Right,
people,
so
the England sports fans strike me as just a whole country of Boston sports fans, but just English.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a great comparison.
that's what it is.
They be singing
That's
that
a great
song like
comparison.
Boston fans be singing Tessie. Like, oh
Dude.
God.
I don't know if there's any English in the chat. I know we have some fans that watch the show for England. You think about in a football game, like an American football, NFL. People go into the stadium hammer. Nah, you go to a soccer match here in England. They don't sell alcohol during the game because the people are already intoxicated. So
They got
tell
jobs to do during those games, man. They got a chance to do. That's a
I do
job.
I like the way that they set up. I mean, it's set up this way probably because there's so much fights and violence. But like in a soccer match, the home crowd is the main part of the stadium, and then there is a section of fans for the visiting club for the away side. And you can't be an away side fan in another part of the stadium.
As a parent, also, I appreciate they have a
Put the away fans in like a cage.
And dude, sometimes they line security up in between the two rows and everything to make sure that no
There's a DMZ. There's a DMZ.
Yeah, there is a DMZ. Yeah. Yes, there's actually a DMZ. Yes. Yeah.
How is this fun?
Soccer hooligans is a thing.
I don't want to go somewhere being like, yo, if the wrong team scores a goal and somebody is a bit too excited about it, this whole thing might be going down, dog. Yeah. What? People take their kids to this?
So I was gonna say there's a family section, which I do appreciate that, right? There's a family.
It's called watching it on TV. Just watch it on TV. That's the family section.
Sonny, have you been to a soccer game since you got there?
I have tried.
Oh, okay.
It's hard. It's very hard. Man, some people have been going.
Don't they play like 3 games a week? This ain't like football where this is like 1 game a week.
Well, only certain teams play multiple games a week. It depends on what competition you're in. Soccer is very different than American sports.
It's weird. The anime here says Cleveland might want to bring their warm boxers. Cold and snow isn't fun.
Well, I mean,
they are Cleveland though, like they know. They're cold in the city.
It gets a little cold here too. I mean, we're along the same lake, y'all.
Yeah. Ravens Nation here says the 1 week of the year I will go for the Steelers.
Listen, Ravens, you can jump on board, Ravens fan, but you are just wishing yourself, this is wishing poorly on yourself because just so you know, after we get done with the Bengals this Sunday,
it's coming for us.
You're next. Listen, once the Steelers win this game, okay, everyone in chat's gonna have this, and I felt it the last 2 years anyway. Give me that weird, like, wait a minute, what's going on over there in Pittsburgh? We got,
yeah.
I remember.
It's getting tight.
Yeah, it's all of a sudden like, hey.
My belief in the Steelers to never be super mediocre, and my belief that Kenny Pickett is extremely mediocre are just conflicted right now. You know what I mean? Listen, I don't know where to be.
By the way,
Wait
we're
till he
like a
throws the game
minute
winner on
away
Sunday.
to closing this poll. So if you want last votes, go ahead, get it in. DC for POTUS here says, people swear the Browns should panic when we haven't seen 4 yet. Your Kobe is balling, but Watson doesn't throw those 2 MDs.
What did you say you had to do in order to enjoy the World Cup this year, Tony?
You got to put the blinders on. You
Oh,
got to
yeah,
put the
put blinders
yeah.
on. Yeah, it's certain element of blinders on. I'm putting on right now. You know what I mean?
Okay, with that, Tony, I'm closing the poll. What do you think is the final? Since I encourage people to vote.
You did encourage people to vote now. 60, or was that 62 before? Now it's up to 64.
I don't know. You riled up them Bengal fans.
I might have. It might be over 70.
Probably 75.
64.
So the final tally: Bengals 60, Steelers 40. The Steelers.
It went down.
Dang.
It went down. This is a gold wave.
I got feel it.
Okay. Now, with that, we go into our last.
The power
matchup.
of TJ Watt is immeasurable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I said this to Tony. Tony was like, "But where is TJ's coming from?" I was like, "TJ Watt will solve half of your problems because TJ is that dude."
I'm telling you, it's not the team; it's the running game. The fact that the running game got going on Sunday is why I have so much hope.
Okay,
I don't care. Of course, it's one game. We don't 1 game sample size on this show all the time.
I try not to.
Yeah, exactly. When it fits our narrative, of course we do.
I try not to. I actually try. I personally try not to, which is why I said the mixing thing is not a thing yet. Also, the Najee, because I know. Oh, by the way, Bengals are bringing the white colors this game, right?
Yeah, the Steelers are bringing color rush, so we're
whoa, hold on. Whoa, we didn't mention that before we broke down this game. They don't lose in the color rush. TJ Watt too in the color rush. If this was the Bumblebees, I might have to change back my prediction. But you know, have the Steelers lost in the color ruch yet?
What is the color rush for the Steelers? Yellow.
It's all black and these it's like the Browns color rush, but like gold.
Yeah, it's all black and then with like gold trim and then gold numbers block.
Wait, didn't you lose to the Bengals in that uniform?
Nah, it wasn't the Bengals.
No, it's somebody else.
Ravens.
It was a very sad game for me. Very sad.
It has to be the Browns then. That has
Was
to
it
be
the
the
Browns either.
No, it wasn't us. I remember doing that.
So
I would trust me. I would be asking.
It was to Baltimore in 2018. No, we lost to the Bills. The Bills.
Oh,
the Bills on Sunday night.
Okay.
Bills on Sunday night.
Okay.
I believe that's the last time we lost. I'll look it up. Steelers,
okay. So with that being said, let's talk about this game. Browns, Bills. Look, I actually think I actually told this to Tony Q. You weren't here. I said I'm picking the Browns upright. I'm picking the Browns upright. Josh Allen's a little hurt, might be a little stiff in that cold weather. Also, more important, the Bills team is not designed to run. I understand Josh Allen's a hard guy to tackle. I understand he basically, for me, people compare him to, I don't know, different players. I think he runs so much like Cam Newton. He wants to just run through you. Or you can also say
Slam Newton.
Yeah, well, Luck used to do the same thing, right? Luck just like people say Lamar shifty, Lamar tries to avoid.
You know what he runs like? You remember Cardale Jones when he was at Ohio State? He runs like a fast Cardale Jones. Like Cardale Jones would just be like, I'm big, so I'm hard to tackle and have them bumbling, stumbling runs. That's what Josh Allen has a lot of. It's not a lot of finesse. It's just a lot of try it.
Yeah, that's what Luck used to do that, right? Luck was a big dude, not as big as Josh Allen. Same thing with Cam.
Luck had good feet, though.
Luck had really good feet. But this is a game, if weather's really going to be what people are predicting, the passing game becomes subpar. And I do think the Browns can defend the pass, right? I do think they have that in them. And I think the pass rush can get to Josh Allen, right? I do think the pass rush can get to Josh Allen. So I think the defensive side which is Q's. Q has been very down on this defense. I think they can't stop the Bills have no running game. Like this running backs is like non-existent. And I understand Josh Allen is their best rusher. I think you almost have to go with a spy in this game, right? Josh Allen. if the conditions are
Miles Garrett. You go spot JOK? You
not
think JOK?
okay. You have to put Taki is what I was thinking, or maybe you say
I'm
John
putting
Johnson.
somebody in the 90s to spy him, dog. Nobody's
Yeah, Taki is he even out there on passing downs?
I mean, he's out there because we don't have anybody else at this point.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Anthony
Or
Johnson.
where's the dude that you brought from Atlanta?
Deion Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trusting him to tackle Josh Allen.
Well, dude, you just need him to slow him down enough, and then the rest of the defense can, combine. Anyway.
So do you say this to a man who has watched Ben Roethlisberger shake all tackles and throw touchdowns my entire life? It does not matter if somebody slows him down. I do not care about that.
Well. So the question for me here, and here's I actually think this game comes down to Cleveland's offense against the Bills' defense. If the running game can get established, if the Bills cannot stop both Hunt and Chubb, I actually think Browns win by 6. If on the other side, the Bills can stop the run, I think then the Bills win by about the same points, by 6. I think that is the side of the ball. I think Josh Allen will have a decent game for the conditions, but I think the defense of the Browns will be better than before. Again, conditions will help. The offense of the Browns, can they put more points at the Bills? That's my question. I think they can, so I'm predicting them winning by 6. Q, you want to go before Tony, or you want Tony to go?
I'll go before Tony.
Okay, then go ahead, Q.
This is a cruel thing that the NFL is trying to do to us. This is really cruel. They make me watch last week what was an utter declaration of, yeah, it's about a wrap. You know what I mean? They like about a wrap. And then they come by and they can sense me, feeling that, and they're like, "Oh no, don't leave yet." It's like when you find out that your internet company's ripping you off, and you're like, "Hey, I think I want to cancel my bill." And they're like, "Wait, we'll give you the deal that we should have given you all along." And you talk yourself into giving that thing another year, and then y'all. And this is look. The Browns told me what this season was last week. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Okay, maybe Deshaun Watson, because he came back to practice, really amped up everybody, and they're going to tackle Josh Allen. But a team that I saw struggle to tackle Jeff Wilson, who, by the way, got the easiest 170-yard rushing game in NFL history last week. I know people were high on Jeff Wilson in that trade after what he did to the Browns. He did nothing to the Browns. The Browns just got out the way, dog. Like, it was so I've never seen a less impressive 170-yard game by a running back. And that's no disrespect to Jeff Wilson. He'll probably have a more impressive game this year, but that one wasn't one of them. He was just running an open space. Me, Tony, and you, if this group were the running backs for the Dolphins that game, we wouldn't have got 170, but we would have got at least like 112. You know what I mean? Like at least a $112, something like that. A clean $112 off of like at least 5 yards per carry. But if this, like, there's so many possibilities. This could be a snow game. I don't trust the Browns defense. This could be a regular game. I really don't trust the Browns defense. Can we get the Josh Allen? What gives us the confidence, right? Can Myles Garrett get the Josh Allen? Yes, I have confidence in that. Can everybody else get to him? No. So you know what happens when it's just Myles Garrett that gets to Josh Allen?
You can scheme it out.
No, you don't even got to scheme it out. Just roll away from him. You know what I mean? Just slide away from him. So you just run to the right a little bit if you're Josh Allen. Where's Josh Allen his most dangerous?
On the run, on the move.
So we're gonna force Josh Allen to throw on the run, baby. I can't wait. Oh man. Yeah, look, they might not be able to run the ball. I don't know if it matters. Unless it is physically impossible for them to throw the football, because that's what the conditions dictate in this game. I got the Bills. It won't be a blowout because I don't think that many points are going to get scored. So it'd be like 10 points. But boy, it'd be like 17-10, and I'll be demoralized by the third quarter.
Even in a slow scoring.
Yeah, because it'll be obvious. We ain't doing that.
By the way, we talk about. I personally did this, right? I was here like we need to put Odafe away in the sign, remember? But where it has been now change it to the Browns. Clowney, where's Clowney at? Like you would think with all
You know what Cloudy doing? Cloudy ain't playing no real football until his homeboy back on the team, and that's not till December. That's what he's waiting on. He's not about to play hard. Like you think Cloudy is the like Clowney plays hard when he needs to and when the games matter. But you think Clowney looking at 3-6 like, yeah, I need to put my best tape out there. Like, no, that's not how Clowney operates. He's thinking, hey, dog, we 3-6. I'm going to just look serviceable right now. You know what I mean? And that's what he's doing. He looks serviceable right now.
Man. Yeah. I mean, I was just expecting more, I guess, from Clowney. But anyway,
I mean, this season if we didn't lose that Jets game, I bet we would have seen a whole different Clowney at 2-1. But we lost the Jets game, so that was a wrap on Clowney doing anything until we got over 500. It is what it is. He won't be back next year.
By the way, early voting. I feel like we're in an election.
Early voting for Bills Browns.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What are you thinking? Hey, LQ, what are you thinking? Unless you're already watching.
Given that I'm the Browns rep from this show, and I definitely didn't predict the victory, they're gonna have the Browns in that poll by like 60 points.
Yeah, I think it's probably I think it's gonna be. I'm thinking in the 70s. I'm thinking like 73% Bills.
We'll find out how
I might be back. It might
this
be
show
the other
could
way.
be.
71 right now.
71
For Bills.
Yes, for Bills. It's still early. Tony,
Sleeping on us.
what is your take?
Yeah, look, you hear the snow part of this game. You're like, they're like 30 inches of snow. It's going to be the greatest snow game. It's about 6 feet of snow as the game goes on or whatever.
You about to find out the team can score 40 points in a blizzard.
Yeah. Look, obviously that is advantage Browns because of the Nick Chubb aspect, right? You imagine a cold weather defense is just not going to want to. A defense is already or don't want it to go after Nick Chubb once he starts getting downhill, right? Then you add the cold factor to it. And it's like, yeah, we definitely don't want to. A couple of things about this game. It's the problem with recording this game the thing on Wednesdays, right? Is we don't know which defenders are going to play for the Bills, right? Like guys like Milano.
I think Milano might be out.
Yeah, Milano. You got Tremaine Edmonds was questionable. Jordan Phillips, same thing. Jordan Poyer, same thing.
You don't want to bring anybody if it's really snowing that bad. Do you think if somebody has tweaked something, you want to bring into this game if it's snowing?
But they've lost 2 straight, right? So it's almost a kind of this team's got to get back on track. They lost that game last week, by the way, in one of the most high variance ways I've ever seen. The post-game win expectancy, by the way, shout out to Football Outsiders, who actually does a post-game win expectancy stat. And PFF does one too, although they do one where they actually calculate what the final score should have been, which gets people all riled up. Because they just do like a fixed final, like the final score should have been, whatever. And then people just lose their mind on Twitter. But no, the Bills had a post-game win expectancy in that game, I think, of like 98%. I mean, you think about some of the crazy things that had to happen for them to lose that game. I mean, the Justin Jefferson absurd catch after absurd catch. Then they had to get a fumble recovery on the 1 yard line, right? And then after all that, Josh Allen had to throw an interception.
But Josh Allen, remember,
it takes that much for Kirk Cousins to win a close game, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it takes. This is why nobody thinks that the Vikings could win a Super Bowl.
I think true. I think that the snow part of this could also I think it could play a big part on the Bills' offense. When you think about the snow, you think about like the footing or guys not being, it's going to slow you down, right? You think about a Browns defense that has had issues communicating, being in the right place at the right time. Tackling. Now we're talking about, tackling, exactly, right? Now we're talking about a cold weather snow game where if you take a wrong step, right? I mean, again, your ability to close in those cases because of the snow, it's lessened. I agree, though, that, Josh Allen with the elbow and how healthy is that elbow in the cold and, how good are the pain meds that he's going to get to make sure that thing he has full mobility and whatnot. It's an interesting one. Yeah, it is. I do like, though, when you talk about like there's no running game, I do like James Cook a lot. I think James Cook has put up.
I thought he was going to be better out of college.
I thought he was going to be better too, and maybe this is a breakout game from him. This is certainly a spot that they could use it, especially if it's as cold as it's going to be.
I will say this: I don't think Buffalo's going to have a big game running the ball as much as Browns fans would expect, because I don't think James Cook isn't doing well because James Cook isn't good. I think that their run, the way that Buffalo runs the ball, the lack of creativity they have when they run the ball, is just a flaw with their offense.
Yeah.
So
it's
like this isn't Mike McDaniel. And look, I got to give Nerd Boy his credit. That dog, he was pulling out all the tricks last week. I mean, he had Ingold out there just doing like all kind of stuff where I was like, "Ooh, boy, that boy was cooking." Like I left that film review with a whole new respect out of Nerd Boy. I was like, you know what? Yeah, let me drop all these preconceived notions about whether he could coach or not, because the brother could definitely coach.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't have that going on there. That's why the Browns defense looks so bad, is because like one, Nerd Boy is really good. I mean, Mike McDaniel, let me call him Mike McDaniel. Mr. McDaniel is really, really good at drawing up them offenses, and Joe Woods had no answer for it. I don't think that happens with Sean McDermott. He's a good coach in his own right, but he's not like, was he a defensive guy coming out?
I think he is a defensive guy, but Ken Dorsey's their OC now.
Yeah, okay. I didn't really think that.
He threw a hissy fit in the booth after that loss to Miami.
I can't believe I forgot about that meme. I got to bring that meme back.
That's right. Sonny, we got a bot in chat, by the way.
But yeah, so I don't think the Browns have those issues, but the tackling Josh Allen issue, I think, is something that's a big problem, because if you get an angle on Josh Allen and you miss that, he will find somebody and he will get downfield, and it will be points eventually. So that's my big concern about this game.
Yeah. The other thing about this game for me is I think we're forgetting how good this Bills defense has been. I mean, this Bills defense is real good. Now, I know they're banged up, and they are banged up badly.
My boy Gregory Rousseau been making me look like an idiot. It's him and Perrion Winfrey. Him and Perrion Winfrey both have been joining together to make me look like an idiot about these things.
Yeah, we can't talk about Gregory Rousseau. We can't talk about Gregory Rousseau on this channel. We got to make people forget that we said all those things. Yeah, Bills defense is really good, man.
He does look like Calais Campbell a little bit. Oh shit!
Who knows? Bulk up a little bit. Yeah, I think the Bills will win this game. I do. I give the Browns an outside chance again. Great game script type stuff. Like if they get out to an early lead and it's snowy and the Bills do have trouble moving the ball, then sure. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to rule out the Browns winning this football game, but I think the Bills will win this one, and I think it'll be. Yeah, not necessarily going away, but I think like a lot of the Browns games we've seen this year, they might be in it at the end. They might need a Jacoby Brissett drive at the end, but those have been kind of few and far between.
Due for one, right? He's due for one.
You know who's due for one?
Not Kenny Pickett.
Look at this. Easy for Potos. He's a Browns fan, and look what he put there. Booty.
Oh, he's trying to reverse jinx. Oh, I respect it. I respect it.
Bills by 24.
Yeah, let me call Vegas and take the over after he did that. That was just a foolish move right there. That ain't gonna work out.
And then we have here percent chance to make the playoffs this week has the Bengals at 32%. 6 out of final 8 opponents currently in playoffs. 5 are division leaders. 4 in AFC. Oof. By the way, the thing is, right now we have an AFC East with all 4 teams in the playoffs. Not all 4 teams will make it, right? That would be insane.
Which one doesn't? More likely, which one doesn't?
Can you imagine if it's the Bills? Oh,
it's not the Bills, but that would be fun.
Oh, come on, man. We know the answer to this question.
The Patriots.
It's the Jets.
The Jets. The Jets.
Yeah, I think it's the Jets. Yeah, I also think it's the Jets. I just didn't want to.
They did this before, where they went like 10-6 and then like didn't make the playoffs because they lost the game to Buffalo.
They're winning the division right now.
Yeah, come on, man. Come on. We know who's not gonna make the play. You gonna bet on Bill Belichick or the Jets to lose?
Let's watch this schedule. They have the Patriots this week, so that's a big one for them.
Who? The Jets have the Patriots this week?
So if they win this week, they're making the playoffs.
They're going to New England. You think they're winning that game?
No. And then they're playing the Bears in New York.
Okay.
Well, they're gonna drop that.
Oh, okay. Well,
Justin Fields is surgeon. I saw somebody write an article about if Justin Fields should be the MVP, which tells me nobody should be the MVP.
Can I change?
Yeah, you look at their schedule. Yeah.
So look. I'm gonna just tell you the schedule. So Patriots at Patriots, Bears at New York, Vikings at Minnesota, Bills at Buffalo. Then they had the Lions. Okay. Then they had the Jaguars.
Okay.
Then they had Seattle at the 12-man, and then they finish with the Dolphins.
Yeah, in Miami.
Sounds like they're not
Man.
making the playoffs.
Sounds
And
like
then-
8 wins to me.
You know what though?
Miami
Let's
six
not
right now.
because we have a history of trashing the Jets on this show and it not working out how we want it to.
Yeah.
So you know what? The Jets are going to make the playoffs.
Let's think comparison with the Patriots. They have obviously the Jets. They have the Vikings. They have the Bills.
Belichick versus Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, they have the Bills.
Mhm.
They have the Cardinals.
Mhm.
Oh, at the end of the year too.
They have late, and then they have the Raiders.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Then they have the Bengals.
That
And
Bengals game is real
Dolphins.
interesting.
Yeah, I actually think you know what this is my prediction.
Is
Bills,
it possible that the
man.
Bengals could like end up in last place and the Browns could be in third? And the
Sonny
Steelers
predicted
could
it when
be
we started
second?
the show. Yeah, Sonny predicted it when we started the show.
what? What did I predict it?
Well, you had the order of the show was you,
Oh,
then
yeah.
me,
Oh,
then Q, then
I
me.
could've
So
predicted it was just
Wouldn't that be the most hilarious ending of the season?
I would love it. I would cry tears of
Browns
joy.
fans and Bengal fans spent the whole year talking about what we gonna do about each other, and we just end up at third and fourth.
and then the Steelers sneak into the second seat.
The
Make the
Steelers will
playoff.
sneak somewhere.
Make
Can't
the
wait.
playoff.
We beat the Ravens in the first round of the playoffs. Lose to the Chiefs again. That's
Dog,
Yeah.
if the Ravens lose in the first round again this year.
Okay. Anyway, I
Sonny
think-
doesn't want to continue this tangent.
But the tangent that I was going to right now, they have 4 teams in the AFC.
in the AFC East, yeah.
And I think 2 make it. And that leaves the door open for 2 more teams right now that are not there. I think the Bengals will be one of them. Who is the last
Are the
one?
Chargers
Nah,
one?
Chargers LOL.
You're out on Chargers?
No. Right
And
now.
I agree with you. But you always got to bring them up, right? Because they're like the one team where it's like,
The
oh,
problem
really?
is after that, like who else? Like the South is bad. Could the Browns or Steelers be that other team?
No. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out.
And then the
I'm
Chargers by default. If I'm saying 2 teams only are making it from the East,
Because the
In a
Browns have like
tie-breaking
almost
procedure. If the Steelers do beat the Bengals this week in a tie-breaking procedure, if it's a 3-way tie, we break a division tie first, right? That's how it works.
yes,
We break a division tie.
You have to win. Whoever wins the division, that stays wins the division, and then there's no division tie.
No, I'm saying
right?
like let's say for the wild card, there's a 3-way tie between like the Steelers.
division
Bengals and
tie.
Jets,
The division
right? Or something
win
like that.
percentage becomes the tiebreaker between a 3-way tie.
yeah.
But
It's
the way you break a
AFC.
3-way tie when you have 2 division teams is you break the division tie first.
Yeah,
You
the division
eliminate one
tie
of the
first
2
between
teams.
2 division teams. So if the Bengals are 5 and
Big,
10
big,
and
big.
6,
Sonny, you put this as the title of the episode, right? Like, loser leaves town type thing. You think this is a loser leaves town match for the Bengals? Obviously, it is for the Steelers. 7th loss this early. Good night. See ya.
No, but it might get tough. Like
but
the
that would
Browns-
put them at 4 conference losses, right?
Yes, that's the problem. That is the
And
the-
5. I
the-
mean, 5
the-
total. I mean, they're 5-5 if they lose this game.
Yeah,
5-5, 4 conference losses, and like you get 2 more of those. That's it.
yeah. The
'Cause
Chargers.
The Browns are at 6
have a-
right now. It's about it. If we
The
lose to Buffalo.
Chargers right now have a tough game this week, right? They had Kansas
Chiefs,
City.
yeah.
Kansas City wants to win that game so they can keep pace in the number 1. So I don't know, man. It's just weird. 3 teams might make it from the East. I don't know. 3 teams at the end.
I could see the
might be-
Patriots. I could see the Patriots sneaking in.
Yeah, I think this is a 3-team from the East type year. I don't think
Yeah.
the AFC North is getting 2 in this year. I think it's probably going to be the Ravens. And I
No,
think
the
Oh, no, we're
AFC,
getting to it.
no,
We'll get
the
to it. We'll get
AFC
to it.
North can get 2, but then that means the West, the Chargers won't make it, right? Because the South LL, right? The South,
well, did the
Right.
Bengals play the Chargers this year?
no.
No.
Who they
They-
play in the West? They played the Chiefs.
They play the Chiefs.
They haven't played them yet.
Ooh,
The
that's
Bengals
not
schedule
good.
is interesting coming
They
down.
ain't got the Bills.
Well,
too.
interesting is one way to put it. Incredibly difficult is
They
another.
get
The Bengals really can't afford to lose this game.
no.
Now that I think about it, they have a couple games where it's like you could easily drop these, and then that'll get you to 6.
So look, I'm gonna give you
Boy, their season might be
Bengals.
done if they lose this one.
The
I mean,
Bengals
like
have-
it's not gonna be done, but it's uphill.
Look,
Way
the
uphill.
Bengals are going to Pittsburgh, and then they're going to the Titans. Then they're home to the Chiefs. Then they're home to the Browns, and then they're
With
going-
Watson now.
Yes, and then they're going to Tampa, and they're going to the Patriots,
That going to the Patriots game looks like a win, but I'm telling you, Belichick defense against Burrow,
and then
that's
Bills.
gonna be tough.
They still have the Bills and the Ravens to finish the year.
Yeah.
So don't worry, AFC South. Well, I
And
guess
it doesn't look like anybody's gonna have like a bye, like a pseudo bye.
Chiefs. The Chiefs.
Maybe the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because
Patrick Mahomes, most underrated quarterback in the league. I have him 10-1 to win the Super Bowl.
The Chiefs schedule.
That's crazy. 10-1 odds on Pat Mahomes.
10-1. I was like,
wow.
The Chiefs schedule. This is how. So they have the Chargers. Then they have the Rams, the Bengals, Broncos, Texans, Seahawks, Broncos again, and Raiders. So their schedule is easier. They had the 31st.
The Bengals got some spoilers for hell on that run, that run though. Like, because like as much as we joke about it, the Browns like in the second half of the season with Watson, they might not be a playoff team. They're probably not a playoff team, but they are a spoiler from hell though.
they're
like,
right.
They
fall directly into spoiler mode.
That is, oh god, like if you're a team that can't afford a bad loss and you play the Browns, like that's going to be rough.
Battle tested. Like if they make the playoff, which I think they will. They're gonna be battle tested with this stretch of the schedule. Anyway, we have a super chat here from Laura. Says, how do you look? Very nice this evening and sunny. Are you concerned about us playing not as difficult teams as then going into the playoffs?
Won't be battle tested. They're playing a bunch of powder puff teams, and then all of a sudden,
yeah. Well,
this is the Ravens story, man. Feel real good about that first playoff game, and then ask yourself what happened on Monday.
Our schedule. You want to know what is our schedule?
Your schedule, the last 5 games of your schedule is not actually that easy.
No. So look at the schedule. The schedule is Panthers this week, right? Then we go into the Jaguars next weekend. Then we are home to the Broncos. Then we go into the Steelers. Then we go into the Browns. Then we're at home to the Falcons. At home to the Steelers. And on the road to the Bengals. So it's not a super cakewalk because I do think the Browns are going to be better, obviously with Watson, right? The Bengals are going to be a good team. Bengals are a good team, right? No disrespect here to the Bengals. Bengals are a good team. The Steelers, we'll see.
Are you sweeping us? Are you sweeping us?
No.
And let's not forget, in every conference, every year, there is the team that goes like 4-0 to end the year. You know what I mean? Like the bad team that goes like 4 or 5-0 to end the year. I'm pretty sure the Browns are probably going to be one of those teams, or the Steelers could be that. And the Browns, what am I doing? What am I doing, dog?
It won't fit the same narrative. We're winning 9 straight to end the year.
9 straight.
9 straight. Show me the losses. If they win this one, show me the losses.
Okay. One blue here.
Go over the Steelers schedule. You want to see some cupcakes? They're just all on the road. That's the problem.
Look at this, Tony, for you. Is that a glitter I see in Tony's
Super Bowl
eye?
week, maybe Super Bowl week.
Is he having ideas of a playoff run? Bengals about to stomp that out of him this Sunday Burrow revenge game.
Listen, 3 weeks ago I was talking about Will Anderson, okay, and Browns and the Bengals. You know, we're talking about the Super Bowl, okay. Now we are in a game. It is a must-win for both, as we just talked about. For both.
If the Bengals lose this game, they might as well start talking about Will Anderson.
Yeah, listen. As I said after week 1, all Bengals fans told me, "Oh, we'll get you next time. That was such a fluke." Here we are. Super Bowl week is here, boys.
This game, they might have a top 15 pick.
Please, Kenny.
One
time, Tom. I need one more Tomlin game.
They might get a left tackle in the draft.
If the Bengals lose their 5-5, Steelers 4-6, but the Steelers definitely way better division record than the Bengals at 0.
Yeah, you talk about the division being dead at 0-4. Yeah, the division's dead.
And by the way,
dead at 0-3.
If the Bengals happen to lose and both the Browns and the Steelers win, now it's the territory that the Tony was talking about. Easy for Produce here says, "Who's your favorite player all time from your team?"
Dave Zastudil.
Wow, that is a name.
For me specifically, I obviously Ray Lewis, but Ed Reed was just in there. But the problem with Ed Reed used to drive me crazy. Because Ed Reed will have a pick, and then you're like, no. Yes, it's the same thing with Steph Curry, that when he would just shoot from half court until he started like always making.
Here's where Ed Reed drove something crazy. He would pitch that ball after the interception. He would lateral the ball. He'd be like, "What are you doing?"
exactly. You get the pick, and you're like, wow, yeah. And then you see him. You see
And you
him,
know what Henry never did? Just slide after the interception? Nope.
and he fumbled a couple of those. Like he would throw it, and he fumbled because the guy is not expecting
And
necessarily.
then he come back on the sideline talking about, hey, look, we got better field possession anyways.
So I love it, Reed. That used to drive me crazy, but it was also exciting, right? Because half of the time worked, and then you go pick six. He didn't necessarily score; he would pitch it. But yeah, those are my two.
Mine.
That's something you can only get away with if you're Ed Reed, by the way.
If you're Ed Reed, yes.
Like,
Yeah, it's tough. You know, as a Steeler fan, it's tough. You know, so many Hall of Famers
Oh
to
my
choose
God.
from. You know what I mean? Is it the Hall of Fame quarterback? Is it one of the best?
Ooh.
No, my favorite
They
Steeler
don't.
of all time is Cordell Stewart. I loved Cordell as a kid. I loved
Something
him when he was
told me
at
that.
Colorado. I when he threw that Hail Mary Colorado against Michigan to win that game. I remember telling my dad, my grandfather, the Steelers got to draft this Cordell Stewart guy. He's so good. And when they did, they were talking about
You're
10-year-old
crazy.
Tony became. I was a Cordell Stewart fanatic.
You know it's hilarious. This is how like life is different for a Steeler fan and a Browns fan. Because I had a moment very similar like that. It was 2012. I was watching Texas A&M play Alabama at 3:30 on CBS, and there was this kid, Johnny Manziel. It was the 2014 game where I was like, he's him, right? Because that was the one they lost, but Johnny looked like he actually was trying to play football in that game. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is crazy, man. Mike, I thought that I was convinced that this was going to be the small dude that works. I was so sold on Johnny Manziel working. Then we drafted him. And well, 2 years later was a bad choice.
But don't worry. So obviously the Browns have that streak of a lot of first round picks not working.
Well, the problem with that streak was like there was only like 2 first-round picks with 3 first-round picks in that entire jersey. It was like what Brandon Weeden, Johnny Manziel, and then Tim Couch. The problem was they kept trying to get starting quarterbacks with free agency signings and 3rd and 4th round picks.
The Kaiser
was a second-round pick.
Second round, okay.
Even though he considered himself to be Cam Newton's body in Tom Brady's mind. I don't know how a prospect like that slips to the second round, but he did slip to the second round that year.
So think about this. I was talking to the other guy, to a Raider guy, and I forgot how many like legit first round misses they have. Like their past 4 drafts, which is about 6 or 8 picks. The only one there is Quentin Furrow, a 3rd overall pick that barely touches the field.
Oh, no. You got Josh Jacobs who they didn't give the figure option.
Oh, he was the only one. You're right. Because Jonathan Abrams, they just can.
Yeah, he gone. Nah, man.
And
Henry Ruggs is in jail.
Yeah.
Damon Arnett, is he in jail and out the league?
Yeah, he is. Oof.
I mean,
Not good.
Farrell, I remember that draft when they drafted Farrell 3rd overall, because I was looking at Farrell, and I remember telling Ravens fan, I think we had the pick 20-something. I said, like, I don't like this Farrell kid. If he makes it here, and we need a pass rush, like, I don't know. And then 3rd overall, I was like, what? But that was the Raiders, right? They did stuff like that. Miller, the tackle.
You rarely ever want to go for the first defensive tackle to go in the draft. Like it rarely works out like that.
Oh, Jordan Davis seems pretty good.
Well, I mean, there's a Jordan Davis like once every 25 years.
But he didn't go like top 5. He ended up going like 3rd. It is interesting. I'll be interested to see where like a guy like Jalen Carter goes this year. Although I guess he's not really.
But even like what D Brown, he went late in the first round. He's like the first defensive tackle taking that draft.
Yeah.
It didn't work out.
By the way, do you guys think the Phillies good? Like good?
They just don't got a quarterback that I trust.
You see what my dog Taylor Heineke did to Philly?
Yes, but
torn apart.
The crazy thing is Philly actually has like a legit roster.
You know who was sweating bullets watching that game? Tom Brady. Because he knows. I might have to see that man in the playoffs.
I forgot to say this. Ace said I'll go with the Bills over the Browns, but it may be close due to the potential snowstorm. That's my pick for that one. Okay. It is crazy that the Eagles might have a top 5 pick in this draft with all that talent. They had the Saints pick.
Oh, they did do that weird draft trade.
Yes, because they traded for Olave. The Eagles did. Not the Eagles, the Saints did.
Are they going to take a quarterback?
That's a good question. Tony knows how I feel about this class. I'm not super sold.
Yeah, Bryce Young's sitting right there, though.
Bryce Young is very good, man.
Because
Bryce
he could
Young
be
is
sitting
very
right there though. And it would suck for Jalen Hurts to have another dude from Alabama come in and take your job. Like,
But look,
what?
imagine, let's say that scenario happens. You get Bryce Young, and you take Jalen Hurts, and you flip him for I don't know 2 first-round picks, and the Eagles get richer.
You could just if you take Bryce Young, you just trade Jalen Hurts, yeah. But
Yeah.
who gonna trade for him though? That's the thing though. Like the thing that's like been unsaid over the last few years is like the mid-range quarterback. Very, very little value on the mid-range quarterback. Now he doesn't have a deal yet, but when's his deal up? Like next year?
Next year is his last.
Okay, you could trade him on his rookie deal then, I guess.
Yeah. But for 2 first?
Nah, not 2 first.
1 first?
First and a third.
First and a third. But still, like, imagine the Eagles getting Young, very cheap, right, for 5 years, getting an extra first.
Or do you get yourself in trouble saying, well, we got to see if Bryce Young's good? And then you keep Jalen Hurts on the roster, and then you just kind of, this dude is trolling so hard right now. Tony.
With the names.
Well, Tony, be respectful. He said he wasn't going to throw 4 again, so you at least got to at 5.
Yeah, no, he'll go 5. Yeah, we got 5.
Okay, guys, we'll let it there. This is gonna be interesting. I don't know if Tony will make an appearance next week. Obviously,
we're packing it. We're packing the heel. Listen, the glasses are right here. Don't worry, I got them ready to roll. We're packing it on. No. If I show, I will look. I'm gonna be on a boat next week, so it's gonna be tough for me to be on the show. But I will show up, win or lose. I will be here. Heel Tony will definitely be here
on the boat.
On the boat. Wait, that will let you go. Make sure you like, subscribe, and put that bell. Also, check our True Classic sponsor.
Or some shit. Yeah, I mean,
upgrade your favorite True Classic. We will see you next week. Till next time.